Simplified Chaos, Episode 6.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to start leading a more purposeful life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hey, lovely friends. Welcome back. This is one of your hosts, Jillian, and I am with my co-host, Nicholas.
Hello, everybody.
And Lucille, our 7-month-old baby, is with us again, and she was napping in the car, and then she decided to wake up, so we're really hoping that she drifts off to sleep again.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. You were getting ready to say 7-month-year-old, weren't you?
I know. I always want to say
aware of that.
7-month-year-old, but that doesn't make any sense.
I hear you.
Pretty sure I said that on a previous episode and was like, dang it.
We won't make the same mistake twice. Or maybe we will, but it's okay. Anyways, Jilly, I'm feeling grateful.
Are you?
I am. This is what we do at this part of the episode.
I know.
I am feeling grateful for Boston Market.
We don't even eat in Boston.
I haven't
Boston
eaten
Market.
at a Boston Market in probably 20 years. Yeah, that's probably right, about 20 years. And the reason I'm grateful for Boston Market is they gave me my great chicken cutting skills. And the reason I'm saying that is I had to cut 2 rotisserie chickens today for you.
And I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
And it wouldn't be possible. Well, it would be possible. It'd be a mess. But Boston Market gave me those skills to cut a chicken correctly.
And it's kind of funny because your first job was at a chicken place and my first job was at Wings to Go, but I didn't cut rotisserie chickens. I just fried chicken wings and...
Chicken brings us together.
I guess it does, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. So yes, Boston Market, thank you for those fine skills you gave me.
Well, thank you because I don't have to cut chicken either.
No.
And you even cut the turkey in Thanksgiving, which is even better.
Very similar.
You
do it very similar.
The anatomy is similar, just a slightly larger bird.
Absolutely. So, Jilly, are you grateful?
I'm very grateful today, and I was trying to find a way to say what I was grateful for without being too specific, but I almost want to get specific because I think some people don't talk about it.
Okay.
I'm grateful for postpartum.
Ooh, interesting.
So, obviously, I'm 7 months postpartum right now, and when I was pregnant, nobody talked about postpartum. Everyone talks about childbirth and just being pregnant. Nobody talks about the aftermath, the healing process, how long it may or may not take. And I will say that going through postpartum and realizing what my body can go through and how long it takes to heal, because for those who don't know, I did have a unmedicated birth, and it was wonderful and beautiful and painful all at the same time. It was glorious. And I had an episiotomy and had no idea how long it was going to take to heal. I mean, you remember me going on walks with you and me going like as slow as a snail, trying to like waddle?
Yeah, and you thought we can do our full walks, and about halfway through we had to cut through and get back to the house because it was just too much.
And I will say I took walking for granted, I think. I didn't realize the joy of just going on a stroll gave me until I realized that walking was a struggle. Just trying to walk was really rough. And sex was not enjoyable. And I was scared to death to have sex with you. So I'm like,
I remember.
It's like a war zone down there. I don't know how I feel about you going in there. I don't even want to go in there and look. And I will say that sex just now started feeling back to normal.
I'm back, baby.
And it took 6 to 7 months. But nobody talks about it. And
right.
I really wish more women would talk about the healing process because I think it needs to be known. And it would make me feel more comfortable, or future moms feel more comfortable about just talking about it and just saying, hey, like, it's going to suck a little bit. Like, your body has to heal, and you're not going to be a spring chicken. I mean, some people are. Some people are, like, ready to get back in the game in, like, a week later, which is fantastic. But for me, it took a really long time.
Right.
And I really took certain simple things for granted, like sex and walking. And now that I'm back, I'm back at it and I feel back to my quote unquote normal self, it's fantastic now.
That's good. And I think that they do. Their main concern is the baby and making sure the baby's taken care of, and they don't tell you what you need to expect as a mom and what's going to happen to you, how your body's going to change, what the healing process is.
Even mentally, like physically, that's one thing I think, but mentally, it's a game changer too.
Right.
Like obviously, there's postpartum depression, and you don't really know what it is because nobody talks about it or what to do if you do experience it or what it's like. And so I just kind of want to like highlight that to any moms who are going to be moms for the first time. Like, talk about it. Don't be afraid to.
Right.
There's a lot of people that know what you're going through. It's just one of those topics that it's just hushed, and I don't know why.
Let's open it up.
Let's spread the word, moms, and talk about it and be real. So that way we have a sense of community. We feel like we're not alone. You are not alone if you are having a baby or if you had a baby and you experienced any of that fun stuff afterwards. So I think we just
reach
just
out
want
to
bring
Jill.
awareness.
She'll tell you the truth. Absolutely. So any new moms out there or new moms to be, if you have any questions, Jill is certainly happy to answer them for you.
She will
not hold anything
honest,
back.
Yes.
So what are we getting into today, Jill?
So today's episode is all about meal planning.
Nice.
We are going to be talking about why we started simplifying meal planning. We are talking about the steps we took, the benefits, which is always our favorite parts to talk about, what great things came out of it, and the resources we've used to help us with the whole process. Because
I'm excited.
There's a lot going on in meal planning, or some people think there is, but it really is a lot simpler than we all think.
We're going to simplify it for you. So, if you are one of those people who are trying to figure out what to make, and if planning dinners or lunches stresses you out, this can absolutely help you out. You know, if you find yourself eating out more because there's not enough time in the morning to pack a lunch, meal planning can help with that and save you some money. And we'll get into some of those benefits a little bit later on. But I think before we get into our why, Jill, on why we started meal prepping, I think it's a good idea for us to give people some background on what we were doing before we started meal planning. And it wasn't chaotic, I don't think. I mean, it may have been a little bit, but you know, when we first started dating, we were living in separate households. You know, I lived in Baltimore and you were living, you know, where we're at right now. And you know, when you would come over to my house, you know, I would cook dinner. You know, we would kind of talk during the day on what we were feeling for dinner. And, you know, you would make it, you know, we had our pizzas, we had Stir Friday. Man, we're on point.
We need to bring that back. Stir Friday.
Stir Friday. I do miss Stir Friday. Thank you, Archer. So, you know, and then when I went to your house, you know, you would cook, or you
mostly
know,
my mom.
Mostly your mom.
Because my mom was still living here at the time, and she loves being a mom and she loves taking care of us and cooking. So it was one of those things where I just kind of let her do that because she enjoyed cooking and, you know, having a meal for us. And I would help, but it wasn't really my sole responsibility then.
Right. So, I mean, you had your mom cooking here. You know, I would cook at my place, or if you would come over to my place early and maybe cook too, because you get off early and, you know, I work late, and that's just kind of the way it's been since we've been together. You're always the first one home due to the nature of your work and what time your school opens and closes. So then we got married, and I moved into this house now that we own, and meals, once your mom moved out, started falling more on you because you're home early.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about how that worked for you. You know, was it stressful? What made you want to start meal prepping?
I'm trying not to laugh because Lucille is just sticking out her tongue. And
no problem. La, la. She's adorable.
I'm glad it's no problem for you.
Yeah.
Man, I really wish you could breastfeed.
I'll pass.
So I think it was definitely a struggle in the beginning because we didn't have a rhythm. We had to find our rhythm.
Right.
We had to figure out, you know, when we wanted to go shopping, how we were going to think about meals, find out what meals we both wanted to eat. Because I know some people have different tastes. Luckily for me, you eat whatever I eat.
I'm very open. I'm not picky. I don't eat pickles.
Yes, and I appreciate that. And I know for some people it may be a struggle because your taste buds may be completely different than your spouse's or your partner's or whoever you're living with. But I think just being open and flexible helped the process a lot more, just trying new things. So I feel like we kind of found our rhythm. We decided, hey, on the weekends, we're going to go grocery shopping. Saturday or Sunday, we're going to use one of those days. We weren't very rigid with our expectations. We just said, on the weekend, we're going to grocery shop. And we consistently did that. But before we grocery shopped, I said, we need to have some type of plan.
Right. This chick is out of control.
Lip smacking away.
Yeah.
So we had to figure out what we were going to have for dinner. And I think in the beginning, we just randomly would pick out recipes. We would look online. Oh, this looks interesting. Oh, this looks interesting. Why don't we try this? Come to find out, it was super stressful and overwhelming because following a recipe that you're not used to cooking, you're constantly looking at your phone or a cookbook. And the recipes I would pick weren't the easiest all the time. And it took time. And when you come home from work, you don't really want to follow sometimes a new recipe you're not familiar with. And take the time to, and of course, if you have kids, but back then I didn't have kids. So, I had that time to willy-nilly, take my time and do this and do that. But it's a game changer now with her.
And I want to kind of step in and I wasn't planning on talking about this, but just thought about it as you were talking. The Blue Apron and all those different companies that send a meal to your place, they talk about convenience, but it's still a lot of prep work that goes into making a meal. And so it's basically they're sending you the ingredients for a meal. You're saving you the trip to the store.
Yes.
And providing all that. But it's still, you're doing just as much prep, if not more, for some of these meals. So
and it's not a bad thing if you have the time.
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess it's more of, if you don't want to go to the grocery store, Blue Apron and those different types.
And if you don't want to make decisions on meals, they do say, these are the menus. This is the recipes you're going to have this week. So we're taking the decision making out for you.
Right.
Which was nice. And we tried Blue Apron. We tried Green Chef. We tried Terrace Kitchen. We tried all of that. And it was a temporary fix. It was like a Band-Aid, I would say.
And it adds up. It's not cheap.
Yeah, that's true. So we kind of had to figure out how can we make planning lunches and planning dinner just easier. And it's really not that complicated, but for some reason I feel like we tend to want to overcomplicate things. And I think that's because we compare. Restaurants have these elaborate, delicious meals. There's, maybe your friends are cooking elaborate meals or, Green Chef and all their recipes are very fancy, and I feel like we think we have to keep up with that, and they have to be fancy and elaborate. But really, eating healthy is not complicated. I think we complicate it ourselves. We think we have to, keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, with food and meal presentation, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
Eating healthy is just putting as close to natural food in your body, and that's it. You add an extra sauce in there, that's even better. But I feel like once we realized that eating healthy didn't have to be complicated, it was like, all right, so let's talk about what meals we both like.
And so before we get into the steps that we took on how we started meal planning, why did you want to start meal planning, Jill? What was the big thing that said, hey, I need to start doing this?
Well, my number one priority is my health. Without it, I can't do anything. When they say that health is wealth, they are absolutely... It's so true. Your body only feels as good as your gut.
Right.
And if you don't know about your gut or you have no background on nutrition, I feel like you don't have to be a nutritionist. You don't have to be a dietitian. And I guess it'd be nice to say that I am a nutrition and wellness consultant. So I did read about nutrition and I did study it because I felt like it was important for, everyone to know.
Right. Food's such a mystery.
It really is. And it's probably because the government confuses you. This is healthy, but it really isn't.
Right.
So I think
the government gave us the food pyramid, which is a crock of shit.
It really is. Don't follow the food pyramid, guys. And I want to strongly recommend anybody who doesn't know about nutrition, it's not hard to find out more information. The internet is at our fingertips, and all you have to do is type in healthy food or what do I need to know about gut health? Or, there's so many words and keywords you can search for and find out about health.
Right.
healthy food.
There are a lot of resources out there, and we'll get into that a little bit later too.
Yes. But anyway, so food is directly connected to our health. And I want to do a lot of things in my life. I want to travel with you. You know, before we started, I wanted to have babies and have a family. And I can only do that if I'm feeling my best.
Right.
And who wants to not feel their best and just be tired and non-energized and, you know, just sucky. So when I realized that food is directly related to how
Your health, yeah.
like input is directly related to output. What I put in my body is directly related to what I can do. I was motivated to change not only what we were eating, but how we were doing it,
Right.
and how can I make this a simple process for us.
Right.
I want Lucille to learn health and nutrition, and without us knowing, how is she going to learn?
Right.
They're not teaching it in school
No, not
properly or at all. I can say that being a public school teacher. I mean, they give you documents and curriculum materials, but
They're from the government.
A lot of teachers are also going to say, "When am I going to have the time?" And it's so true. There's so much. I mean, I could go off on a
Well, and
ramble
teachers
about
aren't educated on it either. So how can they pass that information along to their students?
Very true. So I think it's the parents have to take that control into their own hands and learn about nutrition and model it and teach it to their kids so that they know what to do when they get older.
Absolutely.
And involve them in the process, involve them in cooking and shopping and how to prepare meals. And it's not complicated, like I said before. So this was important for me, not only for me to feel great and to do the things I want to do in life, but to also help my future child know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, right now all you have to do is lift your bra up and boom, she's got food.
I wish it was that easy for us
I know.
sometime.
So what steps did you start taking when you said, okay, I need to start meal planning. This is going to help me out tremendously as far as health, as far as saving time. What initial steps did you start taking in order for you to start meal planning?
I will first say that I had to change my mindset about cooking. I feel like I was getting into that attitude that like, oh, cooking is such a nuisance. I don't have time for this. And that's when I would, you know, run out to fast food joints or pick up just not healthy alternatives.
It's not, it's tough when there's a Wawa less than a half a mile up the street from us.
And what I realize is I have to,
So good.
I almost have to put blinders on with all of the choices we have
Sure.
that are not healthy.
Yeah.
And realize that cooking shouldn't be a nuisance. Eating isn't a nuisance. If it's a priority, I should make the time for it. Like, this is the one body I have.
Right. And
I
I
have
know
to
for a
treat it
lot
with
of
respect.
people, it is a chore. It takes time. It takes time, you know, and we're busier now than ever. But, you know, if we really look at what we're doing is, are we busy or are we just taking a few minutes away from Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is? I mean, that's not busy to me. That's trying to fill time. And so if that's more important than your health, then, you know, this podcast episode's probably not for you. But we're here for people who, you know, realize that, hey, you know what, there is time to cook. And so I think that's a big part of it is you have to make time. And over time, it can become enjoyable. Like you start cooking different things that are out of your element, things that you've never tried before. And then when you have success with them and the family enjoys them, you know, it motivates you to want to do better the next time. So I feel like it's a matter of also just getting started.
And the whole changing my mindset, instead of saying I have to cook dinner, I changed my wording to I am able to cook dinner, which is amazing.
Yes.
I have 2 arms, two feet, a brain.
We have electricity that runs the
There's
stove
so
or
many-
gas for those of
yes.
you who have gas. God, I wish we had gas.
We should be so grateful that we can cook.
Yes.
We are able to cook. And I had to change that mindset. And instead of looking cooking as another thing to do, I had to take the time and say, I'm able to do this for my body. I have one body and I need to respect it.
Yeah.
So what can I do to treat my body the best way I can?
Right. And it's, you know, it's kind of a funny thing is like when you go into a lot of people's houses, the most elaborate place is the kitchen and it's the least used.
In some homes.
In some homes. I'm just kind of saying,
right.
you know, but kitchens are like the biggest things in the houses. Like everyone's like, oh, your kitchen's got this or this. And how often are you using that? Are you really utilizing kitchens
To their full potential.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point. But I will add that not only changing my mindset in the beginning, but also decluttering our kitchen helps make cooking more enjoyable too, because
Check out episode 5.
there's not crap everywhere and it's hard to find tools you need, and just looking at all the clutter in your kitchen stresses you out because you're like, where are my mixing bowls? Where is this? Where is that? Just having less in your kitchen and less on your counter spaces, just that openness that you have, that freedom to prepare meals
Right.
and cook and invite people to join you. And that's the other thing. Cooking is an experience that can, be for bonding with your family. Like, why does it just have to be one person?
Right.
Invite other family members to help and be involved in the process.
Yeah, especially, if
that's
you
how
have
kids learn
yeah,
too.
If you have kids, have them help out.
That's
And
how even-
oftentimes they're
yeah.
they're eager to help out,
If you're excited about it,
Yeah.
they become excited about it.
Absolutely. And, I think, especially on the weekends, the best meals we prepare are ones that you and I do together, whether it's me doing eggs
That's so
and something
sweet.
else, and then you handling another portion of it, so that it all comes together and we have one nice meal. Like, we don't do that often, but when we do it,
Yeah.
it turns out great. And it's a fun thing, and something that both you and I enjoy food,
Who doesn't enjoy eating?
I know.
You're crazy if you don't enjoy eating.
It's so good. But anyways, I think, steps that we can talk about is one, just do it. Like, just start cooking. It doesn't have to be great, but at least just start doing it. Organize your kitchen, figure out where everything is, get rid of things that you're not using. Anything else as far as,
And we just talked about just changing your mindset about cooking.
Yeah.
That it's not another thing to do. We should appreciate that we can
it's
cook.
what fuels our being. It's what fuels us to,
But I think there's so much chaos in our life, we forget what
it's the most important
the
thing.
root of like us thriving, like what helps us thrive and have energy to do all these wonderful things in life. And we forget that it all starts back at food.
Right.
Like, that is our core. That is
Right.
what is going to fuel us to do anything in life.
Exactly.
So just stepping back and remembering what powers us, and
Right.
that it goes right back to food.
Absolutely. So let's talk about how you go about grocery shopping for the week, because I think that's an important step as far as meal planning. It's the first step. You have to get the food from the store. So when you go to the grocery store, what's your approach?
Well, before I even make my list, we first have to plan out what are we going to have for lunch and what are we going to have for dinner.
Okay.
Because I can't make a list unless I know what we're cooking.
Exactly.
And I don't want to waste money buying things if we're not going to use it and we're not going to eat it.
Yeah, we don't want it sitting in the pantry or in the refrigerator and then expiring and then us
Exactly.
having to throw it out. So having a plan for lunches and the meals that we're cooking for the week.
So the first thing we did was we talked together and we found out what meals do we actually enjoy eating. We enjoy eating pizza. We enjoy eating pasta. We enjoy eating breakfast. And then tacos
And soon to come back, Stir Friday.
and Stir Friday. And looking at those things that we like and thinking, all right, how can we tweak them so that they're healthier?
Right.
Pizza can be pepperoni, cheese, and sauce. Is that really a full, nutritious meal? No. How can we tweak pizza to make it a healthier choice for us so that we're thriving instead of just surviving?
Exactly.
So we started talking about, well, let's start adding vegetables to our pizza, like broccoli. So we simply just thought about the meals we loved, and we just tweaked it to add some more vegetables involved. And it was really
the
simple.
nice thing about pizza is we can do it differently every week. One week we put arugula on top. The next week we do broccoli. The next week we do Brussels sprouts. We've put Brussels sprouts on pizzas before. So
It's a fun way to introduce
we
vegetables to
found
kids too.
different ways. We're not eating the same pizza every week. We've got different ways to make a pizza, and it keeps it fun and exciting.
And I think that's how designated meal nights was born. And I talk a lot about designated meal nights on my Instagram. People are probably like, oh my God, is she talking about that again? But I will say, like, having a designated meal for each night of the week, it saves my sanity. And I feel calmer, and just knowing that we're doing this every Monday, it helps me. Like, I don't even have to think about decision making.
Yeah. So Monday is typically a pasta dish. Tuesday is Taco
Tacos.
Tuesday.
Taco
Wednesday's
Tuesday.
pizza. Thursday is kind of
Brenner.
either Brenner, or if we have leftovers, or if we're feeling spunky and want to make something else.
Yeah.
And then Friday can be a toss-up. It could be a date night. It could be
Takeout
leftovers. It
or
could be
leftovers.
takeout. It could be Brenner again. Friday's kind of the wild card. And then the weekends, it just depends on what we have planned. We share a calendar, so we know what we have going on the weekend. So
Google Calendar.
thank you, Google. So yeah, we have our weekdays planned out.
We know
Because
the meal.
we're going to work. On the weekends it's a little easier for us to go and do things on the fly because we're not at work all day. We're able to be at home and communicate.
We have more flexibility.
We're more flexible, but
During
I
the
think
week.
I think it's critical to have a plan during the week.
Yes, especially with our schedule. Like the last thing we want to do is run to the grocery store and last minute pick something to eat. It's nice that we have a plan. I come home already knowing what we're going to have, how to put it together, because these are meals that we talked about that are easy for us and comfortable doing.
Right.
And I think it's nice knowing that you're comfortable doing it too. So in case that I'm not home to start dinner or prepare dinner, I know that you can handle it because
Right.
these are meals we talked about together. It goes back to communication.
Yeah.
What are meals that we're both comfortable in, carrying out, that if there's something where I have to stay after school, you can get it started without any problems.
Guys, don't use that excuse you don't know how to cook. You can do it. Come on. But and here's the other thing. I'm excited because I just started a new job, which is closer to home. I can work earlier hours and I can get home earlier. So I'm excited because I can then relieve some of that. Like if you're just having a stressful day and just can't cook, I can come home and be home in time in order to prepare a meal and still eat dinner at a decent time. So I'm extremely grateful for the new opportunity that I have and being able to contribute more in the food department, in the meal department. So
That would be wonderful.
I'm looking forward to that. And I want to fire that grill up more.
Yeah.
We
So
don't use it enough.
So yes, definitely having designated meal nights and having a meal specifically for each day of the week helps us, and it helps us stay laser focused on that's what we're cooking. What can we do to differ it up each week? So
Right.
like for pizza, sometimes we'll put pepperoni on it.
Yep.
The next week we might use chicken sausage. So but
Prosciutto.
it already helps take that stress out of like just deciding what to eat. It's just like, no, we're having pizza. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
We already know what's going on. It's a
going
pizza
down.
night. And, we did pepperoni last week. Can we do something different? Absolutely.
Right.
Let's put some buffalo chicken on that joint. Come on.
Yeah.
So just having designated meal nights and then just deciding what we wanted for lunch, I think that was a little different.
Right. So let's transition then into putting that grocery list together for when you do go to the store.
What I do first?
What do you do?
Dude. So first I write what our dinner meals are. And then for lunches, I usually kind of get the input of the family first. I kind of ask you guys,
I
like,
also
what
wanna
are you in the
say
mood for?
That we're only prepping lunches for 3 days because we tend to have leftovers after dinner. And so those leftovers become Thursday and Friday's lunch.
Yes, we don't overwhelm ourselves with preparing lunches all for the week. It's just like, what can we prepare for the first 3 days of the week? And then we use dinner leftovers for the rest of the week, which
And that
does
way,
make it easier for
our
us.
refrigerator is not filling up with
Nothing
leftovers.
goes bad,
We're
less food
utilizing
waste.
everything. And by the time Saturday comes around, there is nothing left in the refrigerator. Like,
And I love
it's great.
that.
I mean, we may have to go out and buy a rotisserie chicken or something like that on a Saturday to get us through. Or, we
boil
figure it
eggs
out. We boil
sometimes
eggs.
if-
But, I mean,
yeah.
basically when Saturday comes around, there's nothing left in the refrigerator. And we're starting fresh. We're starting a new week and with new fresh food.
Yes.
So now that you've planned your meals for the week, you've figured out what lunches we're having.
And I think we should also, the whole communication piece, I think if you are the primary chef, just getting input from your family is going to help make the process more enjoyable for them. And it's
Yeah.
not going to be like, I didn't want this. It's, well, we talked about it together. We talked about what we could have. So just maybe even giving options like we could have this, this, or this. What sounds better to you? So that
Right.
way it gets the family involved in like picking healthy meals, and so that there's nobody complaining. Like, why are we eating this again? It's like, we talked about it before.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's on board.
Absolutely. You before you go grocery shopping every week, you say, "Is there anything specific or special you want for lunch or dinner?"
I think it's important to get the whole family's input,
I agree.
or at least giving options. Just saying like, "This is what we're having, and you're gonna have it because that's what I'm cooking." It's like
You asked me, was it yesterday or this morning, and I was like, I want to do Mediterranean this week. I was like, we've haven't done that ever.
That was
and
a really good idea.
I was like, I want some tzatziki in my life. So yeah, I was like, let's do that for lunches this week. I was craving it, and we had never done that. And you're like, yeah, absolutely.
And having like simple meals for the week, when you have a fun idea that's different and creative, I have plenty of brain power to think, oh, I can add one new recipe in my toolbox like this week, and that's all I have to worry about.
Yeah.
We know how to make all the other meals, but I'm down to try something new. Let's find a healthy recipe for tzatziki sauce, and we'll have some chicken tzatziki bowls, and that'll be like a fun new add-in for this week that I've never done before.
We're going to do lamb eventually, but chicken was a good start for this. It's a good transition.
So yeah, after getting the input from the family, then we pick what lunches we want to have, and then that's when I start making my list.
Talk about your list.
My list.
Because I think I love your list.
So for anyone who doesn't know, I do have a blog, and it started off mostly about food, and it's kind of transitioned to more lifestyle, but there's still so many resources about food. And what I did was I constructed a shopping list that's divided into categories. There's protein, there's healthy fats, there's vegetables, there's pantry items, and I printed it off, and I put little check boxes I listed all of the protein that we could eat, all of the vegetables that we could eat, pretty much all of the options that I think, number one, we eat, and number two, we should eat because they're very good for you.
Right.
Again, I did my research, and I found out this is good for us. This has omega-3s, or this has great nutrition. It's nutrient dense. So after I did that, I made this list on a shopping list in Microsoft Word. I printed it off. I had my mom laminate it.
Your mom loves to laminate.
Well, yes. And we don't have access to a laminator because she's not working anymore. But when she was...
Oh, she's working. She's got a different job.
You know what I mean.
But she's not where she was.
So she laminated this checklist of a shopping list that I created. And it makes shopping or making a list so much easier for me because all I do is check a box.
And you use dry erase
markers. I don't waste any paper anymore.
Nope.
I felt like I was making list after list every week and wasting so much paper. And now it's
not like you're carrying this big list to the store either. You take a picture of it and it's on your phone.
Yeah. So I check off what we need. I snap a photo on my Apple iPhone, and
shameless plug.
That's what I use. So I go to the grocery store and I'll just take a peek at my phone just to see what I need, and that's it.
It's easy.
I think it is.
Now, is that list available anywhere, or can we make it available somewhere?
It is available, but I thought we were saving that for the resources
I know,
part.
we will, but we'll mention it again.
Yes.
So just tune into the end of the episode. Ooh, reason to listen in a little bit longer. We will tell you where to get that list a little bit later on.
If it sounds intriguing to you.
Yes. And it should.
So after we make our shopping list, then I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing in the grocery store. There's no, oh, we could have this, or let's try this. I know what I'm in there to get, and I'm on a mission.
Yeah, you're in and out.
I mean,
it's amazing how quick you go and come back. Like
30 minutes.
Yes.
I should probably set a timer. Like, how quick can I grocery shop? Because I've got the system down. And we go to Giant, and luckily for us, Giant is like, I can literally stay on the rim of the grocery store and not have to go in any aisles because the produce is right there as soon as you walk in. The organic section is in the corner, and I make my way to the dairy section, which is also on the outside of the grocery store. Then it goes to the proteins, and I really
very rarely do you spend time in the middle aisles either. Like, unless you need a specific spice or something like that.
And we
it's
don't
all
eat
outside.
processed foods.
Right.
And that's what's mostly in the middle of Giant.
Yeah. F that.
It's not good fuel for our bodies. I need to respect my body, and that's just not gonna do it for me. So yeah, after the grocery store, we come home. Everything has a place. We know where vegetables go in the fridge. That's another thing. Just having a place.
Oh my goodness. I thought somebody was asleep there for a second.
I think she had a bad dream. So just having a
The
place
milk
in your...
run dry.
Oh, God, stop it. Don't make me laugh. She's on me.
Sorry. So anyways,
But yeah, like, just like we have a place for everything in our kitchen, our tools, we have a place for everything in our fridge. We know that,
and our pantry.
And our pantry. So because we know where everything has a place, it makes just putting away the groceries easier. And when we need something, we know exactly where to go to get them. And it's not just me that knows where it is. It's everyone in our family does.
It's very easy. It's a team effort when you get home. All hands on deck. We empty those bags, and within 5 minutes, everything's put away. Probably even 2 minutes. I think 5 minutes is probably a little over generous.
And I do make sure not only to include, things we're going to have for dinner, things that we're going to have for lunch. I also make sure we talk about snack choices. We are a family that loves snacks that are easy to grab and go. Like, we take the time to make lunch. We take the time to make dinner. We take the time to make our own breakfast in the morning. But when it comes to snacks, it is nice having healthy snacks that are easy to just grab and go. So I will say that we are fans of Lara bars. They're made with only like 2 or 3 ingredients. So
RX bars.
RX bars are great. We sometimes keep those little cheeses in there.
The Baby Bell.
Baby Bell.
Yeah.
We have those in there. We have
Shit's
carrots that we can easily grab and go.
Bananas, apples.
Even pepperoni. And I'm going to shout out to the company Applegate. Applegate is a great meat company, and they make some bangin' pepperoni. And it's so nice to just like grab a couple handfuls of them if I'm really hungry, and just know that, hey, it's not like the healthiest of choices, but it's healthy enough, and it's an easy snack choice to help me if I need something quickly, instead of leaning on, let me go to Wawa or let me go to Wendy's. It's like it doesn't tempt me anymore, because I know that what we have is way better for me.
Yes. What up, Applegate?
So yeah, picking snacks that are easy for your family, that everyone loves, I think is a plus, and helps make it a little less chaotic, that knowing that you don't have to prepare the snacks too. It's just something that you can grab and go, like peanut butter, grab an apple. But yeah, and then
almonds.
I think because we do planning every week, we look at just 1 week ahead. We don't look at 2 weeks. We don't look at 3 weeks.
Right.
We have low
shop
expectations.
For the week. We plan for the week.
It's just 1 week, because I think thinking too far in advance is just too overcomplicated, and we don't buy in bulk.
We don't.
We just buy as we need, and I love that, because we don't have anywhere to store that stuff. And trying to think about where to store it just kind of stresses me out. Like, if I buy like 15 boxes of pasta because, oh my God, they were a great price. It's like,
they're 30 cents off
oh my
a piece.
God, where am I going to store all that pasta? It's like, I feel like some of us are trained to think we need to buy in bulk to save money, but really we don't.
Right.
Sometimes we don't even end up using it. It goes bad before we can use it. So I think just having 1 week to plan, it's very calming for me and for you and for the family to think about. Just 1 week in advance, and that's it.
Yeah. So we know what we're doing as far as dinners go, and those don't take any further planning until we get to those points. So let's talk a little bit about meal prepping lunches and the steps you go through on prepping those lunches.
Again, we had to find our rhythm, so we decided the weekends were going to be for shopping and the weekends were going to be for preparing lunches. So after we find out, like for this week, we wanted to do chicken tzatziki bowls. And knowing that I had to go to a brunch today, I said, how can I make preparing lunches a little bit easier, since I know I have something to do today? So instead of cooking the chicken myself or baking it, I decided I'm going to go for that healthy shortcut and buy a rotisserie chicken. Doesn't have to be complicated. I'm just going to buy a chicken that's already cooked, and that's going to save me a ton of time, because I know that I want to see my friends and enjoy that time and not have to stress about cooking lunches. So sometimes we pick healthy shortcuts. Yeah. And that's completely okay. I try to pick as close to real foods as possible, and it works. So I usually will prepare it on Sunday. Usually Sunday's my day. Right. Sunday's kind of like my downtime day, and I love it now. And it doesn't take me a long time. I think I got it down to like an hour of my day I'm prepping for lunch.
So half hour at the grocery store, and then an hour to prep the lunches, and then boom, done.
Yeah. And sometimes my sister helps me, and sometimes you might help.
I pulled that chicken today.
You did pull that chicken. So it's a great bonding experience too. Like, again, it's not that I have to prepare lunches. It's I'm able to prepare lunches and do what's right for my body to help me just live life to the fullest. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's so true. Like once you start eating good and putting good stuff in your body, you're always happy. You're always energized. I have more patience with my job, with you. There's just, I mean, I'm guessing I'm going into the benefits, aren't I?
Yeah, but I think well, there's a good segue because that was the next thing. Is so, I think we've covered really all the steps. It's just, again, it's just a matter of doing it, but having a plan, organizing, having a plan, and then putting that plan into action.
And
That's
not
really what it is.
overcomplicating it, guys.
Again, keep it simple, guys.
Keep it simple. It doesn't have to be a fancy recipe every day. I mean, a good meal could just be chicken, broccoli, and some roasted potatoes, and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to overcomplicate it. So just kind of go back to the basics of choosing as whole foods as possible, and then just adding a little pizzazz to it, some spices or an extra sauce. Like, I feel like we are always comparing ourselves on social media and what our friends are doing or what restaurants are serving, and we shouldn't do that. Just go back to the basics. Yes. Simple isn't easy. Simple is not easy. The easy way would be to go into the McDonald's drive-through. That's easy. So what we're doing, it's simple, but it's not easy. Does that make sense?
But it can be easy. Once you get in, I think when you get into that routine and it becomes a routine, that you don't even think about it. It's. I think the hard part is making that transition.
And I think that's what I mean is that, yes, it's once you learn your rhythm and you learn what foods work for your body and you learn how to not overcomplicate it, it becomes your own rhythm and it becomes easier for you. But in the beginning, it's going to be hard because you're going to be tempted by all of the things that are around your home, by maybe what your coworkers are eating. Like, to me, that's an easy opt-out. Like, you know what? I didn't feel like cooking, so I grabbed this.
Right.
Well, Taco Bell's right there, so I just went there. That's the easy way. So in the beginning, I think it's going to be hard work.
Yeah. And and I do want to kind of get in the benefits because I think this is a appropriate time. But because we plan lunches, there's no excuse for us to say I didn't have time this morning. There really isn't. It takes 2 minutes to throw the bowl together.
Changing your wording.
Yeah.
Instead of I didn't have time, I didn't make the time.
Yeah, you didn't make the time. Come on, 2 minutes is not a lot of time to put something in a lunch bowl or something like that. But so time has been a huge thing. When I take lunch to work, you're then not spending money. So financially,
not spending money driving if you have to go somewhere or buying the food.
So there's less time preparing lunches in the morning. You're saving money there. There's less time at the grocery store. When you have a plan and you know where everything is going.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
Every time you say rhythm, I keep wanting to sing, the rhythm is gonna get you. Rhythm is gonna get you.
Rhythm is gonna get you. Oh, sorry. I had to get to that part. It's my favorite part.
And then the other thing is because we're only buying for just the week, again, a monetary savings. We're not going overboard on spending money on food, but then we don't have to...
Yeah, I will say it helps with budgeting.
It helps with budgeting.
Because once you find your rhythm, it's like I spend around this average amount. So then it kind of helps when we're planning on saving money. Like, okay, we have to save this amount of money estimated for grocery shopping because now it's like we know around how much we use per week.
Right. And then because we're using up everything in the refrigerator, we don't have to clean the refrigerator out that often. We're not worried about food expiring. We're not worried about something being in there that's 2 years old. And so it saves us that time too of cleaning and worrying about stuff that's going bad. So we're wasting less. We're less stressed because we have a plan. We know exactly what we're eating every night. And I would say we're less stressed, but I would say you're probably less stressed since you've been doing most of the cooking and knowing exactly what you're doing when you come home instead of saying, oh, crap, what the hell am I going to make for dinner tonight? I have no idea. I'm going to have to look, and then Lucille's going to be hungry, and I'm going to have to take care of her, and it's just going to be a mess tonight.
It's almost like a chain reaction. Like if you don't have a plan and you don't know what you want for dinner, it's like you're searching on the internet, and then what if Lucille starts crying? It's like, oh God, and it's like you don't want to have the patience to deal with Lucille because you're stressing out about what to cook and what's in your fridge to find. So I feel like that negative domino effect can happen quickly if you don't have a plan and you don't have something already ready in your fridge to go for what you want to make.
And I want to say the last benefit that I really have from meal planning, and you may have something else, but I think it's easier to improve your overall diet. And I know you and I don't like the term diet as far as like a fad saying of a way to lose weight. Like our diet is what we eat, and
Correct.
it's what we bring into our house. So I think it's much easier for us to have a healthier diet because we do the meal planning. We know what we're bringing in the house, and we're not tempted to bring in something outside. We're not tempted to go to fast food. So again, you said it's a snowball effect, and it's really what goes on with us. It's a lot easier to eat healthy. So there's a lot of great reasons to start meal planning. And, we hope this is motivating you to want to do the same. So, Jill, do you have any more benefits, or do you want to dive into our lovely resources?
I feel like you covered a lot of it, and I just wanted to go back into just family bonding time and not doing it by yourself if you don't have to, and involving the kids. That is how they're going to learn. Like, the reason why I love cooking so much is because my mom involved me in the process. My grandmother did it. So getting them involved and thinking that it's not just something that I have to do by myself. It's a chore for me. Again, go back to, I'm able to cook. I want to share this experience with my family, with my kids, because I want them to know how to do it too.
Right. I think that's great.
But yeah, and then just the benefits of feeling good, clear skin, healthy joints. I don't have headaches. I don't have brain fog. I have tons of energy. Anytime we have ailments, a lot of people think I got to go to the doctor and get medicine, but it really stems a lot from what you're putting in your body.
Right.
So I think that's important to note.
Awesome. I kind of want to call BS on the brain fog.
Well,
but at least for the last 24 hours.
Last 24
Although
hours.
you did great
rough.
today, hon.
I know.
You've done great on this episode.
My speech has been real slurry. I sounded like Missy Elliott. Listener, never. Like, I feel like I could have been a background singer on one of her songs. It's just been tough. I almost thought I was pregnant, but I'm not, guys.
No, we took the test. Nothing to announce today. So, for those of you who are looking for a good resource to help them start meal planning, Jill, shameless plug.
So, the resource that I have to share today is a blog called thecleanandsimplelife.com. And it's my blog. And I'm very passionate about nutrition and health and wellness. That's why I became a nutrition and wellness consultant, because it's fun for me. It's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy helping people thriving and just helping them simplify what they think is complicated. So if you need ways to eat healthy but not overcomplicated, I have so many resources on healthy shortcuts. I have a long blog post. Well, it's not long, but it just goes into more detail about designated meal nights and how you can tweak it for your family. I have shopping lists on there, that grocery shopping list that I made for me and my family. If you think you could benefit from that and you want to start incorporating that, or just try it out to see if it works, I have that on my blog. I have even some sample meal plans to help you get started if you're like, I have nowhere to start. So if you need any of those resources, please visit thecleanandsimplelife.com. I have tons and tons of resources on there to help you keep your kitchen sane, keep your life sane, and just simplify cooking in your life, because it shouldn't be complicated. Eating healthy should not be complicated. And if it is, you're doing it wrong. So let me help you. I would love to.
That's awesome. Do you have a resource for a laminator? I'm kidding.
Oh, you can get contact paper. I know they sell that at Michael's.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. All right. So let's get into that quote of the day. Jilly.
The quote of the day today is by Albert Einstein. There are two ways.
Old Al.
I just think of Al like the owl, the alien. Wasn't that his
Alf.
name? Oh, Jesus.
Jilly.
There's something going on.
Al Bundy.
Yeah, there's
There you
something
go.
going on in here. Maybe I am pregnant. I got to take a second test.
All right.
Anyway, there are two. Wow. I'm being super silly. Sorry, guys. Back to the quote of the day. There are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. And again, our take action from this episode, from this quote, is just to remember that each day is a miracle. And no matter how cheesy or cliche that sounds, it is so true. And we just need to treat it as though it is. And this is just going to change your perspective on so many things, including cooking. So just take the time to fuel your body well, because this is the one vehicle you have. You were born in this vehicle. You need to treat it well so you can nourish it and just go on so many fun adventures in your life. So I think we all need just to take a step back and realize, like, we can't do anything in life unless we're nourishing our body the best we can. And it all goes back to our food. And I mean, there's other factors, environmental factors, but I mean, really it's our input, like what you keep around you, what you're putting in your body. That's what's going to make you have a great life.
Couldn't have said it any better.
Okay. I did my best this episode.
You did wonderful.
I didn't slur that much.
No, you were good.
Man, my language has been really tough lately.
But thank you guys for listening. If you like this episode, please subscribe. Click that little notification button to let you know when the next episode's live. Leave us a review. Tell your friends. If you know somebody who could use some good meal planning tips, this podcast is a good episode for them. And
it's always fun hanging out with you guys. So Thank you for letting us into your lives, your car, your homes. Grateful. It's really cool doing this.
So everyone, have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. See you later, guys.
We want to thank everybody for listening today. Please be sure to subscribe and sign up to receive notifications so you know when the next episode is live. If you like today's episode and know someone who could benefit from the topic we covered, please share it with them. And if you have any suggestions for us and want to chime in on today's topic, you can email us at simplifiedchaospodcast@gmail.com, and that's chaos with a K, or send us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.